project, open mic, let's get the show off right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me, cause
it's project, open mic, let's have a good show tonight.
Let's get the topic straight, let's get things good, let's do everything that we should.
It's project, open mic, let's get the show off right.
Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's see what's going on in the world tonight.
It's project, open mic, let's have a good show tonight. It's project, open mic, let's get the show off right. It's project, open mic, let's have a good show tonight. It's project, open mic, let's get the show off right. It's project, open mic, let's have a good show tonight. It's project, open mic.
All right, what is going on, guys? This is your boy Tig once again with a Project Open Mic. Shout outs to everybody who is joining in. Facebook, YouTube, and Tempo FM. Let's just put this of course again, that lovely face on the screen. Good evening. Alrighty then. So tonight we're gonna talk about some tonight's show is about the S show. You can figure what the S means, but we're gonna talk about some topics tonight. Again, I want to apologize again one more time for people last week. Like I said, I did a show last week on Project Over Mic, but because I was doing stuff with other projects, I didn't do a side chat. So people mostly on the Tempo FM side, I apologize for that. Tomorrow we will, well, if everybody's good, tomorrow we will have a side chat. So keep out for that. And we'll talk about that again. And I said it one more time just to be thankful for most people. Thank you for the birthday wishes. As that's what happened last week. We were basically the week before, I should say, I took a hiatus in a way, kind of. I didn't set it up in a way to let people know that I was taking a little vacation for a birthday. So most people did. So I thank you. Shout outs on the Facebook. I gave you a personal video. Thank you again for that. Again, you know you can catch Project Open Mic every Thursday, starting between 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Sometimes to get some things together working, I give that flex. It's just that regard. But again, you can comment on the comment section in Facebook, YouTube, and Tempo FM as you know how it is. So we're going to talk about the S show. Repeat a lie to become the truth, and a shout out, which I made a mistake on the Facebook thing, but shout out to a good father because they're needed. Now, I'll state this up. I'll state a lot of stuff up front, so we just get away to the usual qualms and stuff that we're gonna be talking about. One, I mostly, if I have to be honest with anybody, I mostly go for balance. There's some things I might go to a certain thing, people don't like it, but I'm not going to be unapologetic to anybody else about what I got to say because it's what I meant. And if you took it another way, that's something that you took. It is what it is. But I'll state this as usual. I do not speak for Black people as a whole or the Black community, and the Black community does not speak for me. When people don't see these videos, sometimes I'm going to think because of certain thing. I'm going to tell you right now, if I use a term called leftist. Now, not all. Let me proclaim this, and this is what people need to understand. That this is where you have critical thinking, and I hope you put on your thinking hats when you watch the show that I produce. Because I have nothing against people who are liberal. I'm a libertarian, so I have no problem against that. But not all Democrats are leftists, but most leftists are Democrats. Not all people who support the president are racist, but some racists are basically support the president. And there's nothing more I hate than a Republican than a Democrat. Looking at the history, looking at the stuff, that's where it is. Now, in tonight's show, I want to point out something for you. Oh crap! I forgot about. I have to admit I forgot something, but hopefully I could add it in to the situation that I need to add it in. Let's see if I can find it. But one thing I have good. I could do that. Yes. One thing I'm gonna prove to people about stuff. To a degree, I don't care about the politicians and politics. I think both sides are bad. They do horrible stuff to us. They get us to argue against each other. Blasey, blasey, blah, blah, blah. So, you could look at my radio show, the show last week, when I point out what both parties do. And again, that's how I make sure people understand that. But I'll say it. This ain't the last time I say it, so I'll be saying it a lot. Look, I already, to a degree, in most cases with some politics, I get people are sick of politics. They divide us, and I understand that. And I don't really care for it too much, except the problem is these things affect our lives so messed up, and it messes with our culture. That's the part I don't like. Okay, I'll say this once, many times again too. I don't care who you vote for. That's not my thing. And I will not tell you who to vote for. People change. Understandable. So I would never tell anybody who to vote for. I don't. And I had a conversation with somebody who came to my house last week, and we were talking about this. And I stated this again. It's weird that I know you're a good person, just because you vote for an R or a D. I should throw away the 14, maybe 10 years, whatever, of friendship because who you vote for. And it was saying, well, it's because, well, I could tell how you think and everything. Shout out to the good shepherd. But as I told him, yeah, but that's how you got your facts and how you put it to that. I'm not going to come, reprimand you or say that's horrible because of what happened. No. Now you give me an issue, a straight up issue, there's pros, there's cons. But a person, whatever. It's what it is. I'm not gonna, that's why I don't tell people who to vote for. You vote who you want to vote for. Go right ahead. And I'm unlike most people who do this campaign, going around all these campaigns, vote, rock the vote, all this stuff like that. Here's the thing. You have the right to vote. Most people think more of the federal more than the local. The local screw you way over than the federal majority of times. I literally got my voter's card. Ah, dang, I can't show it. I'm going to show it next time. My voter's card. Instructions from the Democratic Party in North Carolina in my district to tell me who to vote for. And I'll be honest with anybody out there. There's some people I'm going to vote for on that card. There's a lot of people on that card I am not going to vote for. I've not gotten none from the Republican card. And there's some people on the Republican card I'm going to vote for. And there's some people on the Republican card I ain't going to vote for. And there's some libertarians that I'm going to be putting up in that joint, reading their stuff and listening and talk and seeing what they have to say. I am a Libertarian Party. I do not endorse, and I did a show about this. I do not endorse. I do not back that lady who's running for president, the president, J. Jordan, for Jorgensen, I think. Yeah, I'm a mistake, for Libertarian Party. Good, but some of the stuff she says, it's out and out crazy. And I'm like, no. And I'm not talking about crazy like the usual crazy, like I talk about the left and everything, just nonsensical. Don't make no sense, no logic. And I'm like, why would you say that? It just makes sense. Again, this whole thing about anti-racism is racism. Reverse racism is racism. I hate the word that you're going to hear what I'm talking about, what I say about culture and everything in the show later on tonight. But I don't tell people who to vote for. You vote for who you want to vote for, okay? That's not my thing to tell that. But we're going to see I'm going to show you, as usual, some crap, as usual. It just is, it is. But I'm going to end it with something good this time. I won't be negative. Like I said, I try not to be negative all the time. But I'll show you something that's good. So we can be proud of certain things. Because technically speaking, I do need to start doing my single videos on Project Open Mic on the YouTube. I need to be doing that. That's all on me. That's my fault. I'll admit to that. And I need to fix that. But when I have more time, that's the problem. I'm trying to get the time to do things. So that's just a preemptive of what I'm going to be talking about tonight. All right. So let's get straight into it. All right. Right now we have Amy Barrett going for the Supreme Court. Now I looked into her, and I will hope, as I always tell people, go ahead and look into these things yourselves. Do not listen to me, and do not listen to a lot of the damn media, which is, oh man, it's just crazy. The things they say is horrible. There's a reason why I look at multiple sources to get my information, because if I cannot. Because of basically what he said. If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you read a newspaper, you're misinformed. That is 100% true. In the way the world we have right now, we have technology at our hands, but we don't use the tools to figure this stuff out. Again, I use multiple sources for a reason. So by looking at Amy Coney Barrett, by all means that I read upon her, she's good. I'll give an example again. Reading up on just to double check to make sure, about my being objective. I'll tell anybody out there, no such thing as I'm biased. If you're adult, you're biased. Everybody is. I hate, let's not pretend that thing, but to be objective. I looked up at Merrick Garland. All right. By everything, looking at that to be a supreme person that Obama would choose, that would have never been a problem. So the same thing with Miss Barrett. The same thing with also, Sonia Sotomayor. I looked at it like, yeah, just double checking. Again, Hagen. And here's the funny part. Obama's, this to be again. So Obama had his justices. And Republicans voted for them some Republicans voted for them as well. But funny, on the flip side, they would never do that. I have a problem with that in the degree that, of course, the Republicans always are basically cowards. They look like they're not being a coward now, which is that. And again, when people talk about, the people voted for an election, the only reason the Democrats took over the legislation is because a lot of the Republicans, who I think are despicable, cowardice, I can't say the word I want to say, despicable coward, and who was bought off just like anybody else in the damn Washington D.C. that was bought off because they didn't want to run, because they saw that they saw that their cushy jobs were getting threatened, so they jumped the ship with a golden parachute. And I think those guys are sleazeballs. The despicable people. And because they did not rerun, there was nobody else to run in their spot to pick up this thing. So the Democrats who was running automatically, in most cases, won the contest. So that's how that worked. So that's why it's funny when I see a lot of people like, oh, I hate this. The Dems and the Republicans on the cities. This is unconstitutional. That you should sign up, even in the preliminaries. You should sign up as whatever party just to vote. I thought, like we always say, voting is what it's supposed to be. But I gotta sign up to be as a Democrat to vote for the Democratic primaries or the Republican in the state. That's unconstitutional. Those states that does that is despicable. North Carolina is one of them as well too. So I'm not gonna even go. There's no difference in that regard. I'm me. I vote who I want to vote for. F the flip the party affiliation. You want my vote? I'm gonna vote the way I want to vote. Don't pressure me or don't do that. Dems and Repubs. Don't. So don't do that. But they do still. And it's just like I said, it's unconstitutional, but what am I surprised? No. So Amy Coney Barrett is trying to go for the Supreme Court. I like I said, she's knowledgeable, she has stuff, and I have no problem against it. Another thing that kill me about this too, just to let you know, just because you vote for something that is just because you vote for something because like I say, you elected, because let's give an example. Roberts was elected to be a conservative judge and everything, as they say, right? Or for the Republicans. But then when they did the Affordable Health Care Act, he did something unconstitutional. And they're like, oh, well, you're not a judge. No. The legislature is supposed to make be the money purse strings and supposed to make the bills. The legislative branch, the Senate, goes to on that amendment, and then the president signs. Remember again that old school song about the bills, how that changed, of course. Right? Here's the thing. The people, the prosecutor there who was going against the defendant, which was the President Obama, saying that this should not be that this is not a tax. This is just a way to do stuff. It's not a tax. It's a bill. It should go to it's unconstitutional because it's not going to the legislature. And then Roberts ruled with the Affordable Health Care Act that it was a tax, but only tax could only make in the legislature in Congress. So he went against that. That interpretation was dead wrong. And as you've heard the question, for people who join in and never heard what I'll talk about, this is episode 17. Go to episode 15, where I talk about the whole Roe v. Wade and how to overturn it. No, but like I said, because it's about privacy, I get that, but it was on a falsehood from the top. From the bottom up, it was on falsehood. Roe did not get raped. Roe lied. And the judges were not the Supreme Court. They were unelected judges. Make the law of the land. That's unconstitutional as well. And Ruth Gator Bisbird, as I played in that video, said so. And she talked about it. Okay? So just go back to that video and watch that on Project Open Mic on YouTube, episode 15. Watch that. I share the videos exactly what people are saying. All right. And then Kavanaugh has not voted 100% because he's not. It's just so stupid. Oh, he's a horrible person, blah, blah, blah. You tore this man down. Blasey Ford, should be in jail because she perjured herself. Many of the women in that thing perjured themselves, but they don't be in jail. I don't get it. This is annoying. I hate that double standards. But anyway, they perjured themselves. But he has also voted on for as people would call quote unquote on the Democrat side of some cases. But of course, nobody follows it. They just hear the big cases and that's it, because they don't know that they don't keep up with this stuff. And I said 100 times again, I will say it on the show. I understand. That's why I'm providing this show to most people. People say, "Oh, I'm trying to change." Look, I give you what I give you. I give you the evidence, give you the facts. You make your conclusions. You be a smart person, as it is. Be a smart individual, like I always say. People are stupid, so let's go through the process of looking at the stuff that I present. That's all. Go, and I still say go and search, and you'll find these things. Now, there is a question though that I want to talk about that YouTube, Google, Twitter, Facebook. It's funny that they censors a lot of things. They've done censored me many times on Facebook, censored me times on YouTube. And then if I'm looking for certain things, I gotta be careful when I'm searching, not because of crazy stuff I search for. No, I'm talking about if I want to get a true results, I gotta look through a bunch of stuff before I get really what I want. Okay. So I'm just saying that. So let's go and let's look into this show of the Supreme Court. Let's go in. I'm thinking, let me see, who should I start with? Rona Maisie, or should I go with let's go with Mr. Cory Booker. This dude is a clown. Oh, good grief! Most politicians are clowns. Clown number one. Let's bring that up on the screen so you guys can see. All right, there you go. Again, I said people don't do stuff, but I'll just let it play and hear what's going on.
I'm going to ask you some questions that if you had told me 5 years ago that would be questions asked at a Supreme Court nomination hearing, I would have thought they wouldn't be possible. But unfortunately, I think they're necessary to ask you. And I hope that you'll give me direct answers. The first one, you've already spoken towards issues of racism and how you deplore it. But I want to just ask you very simply, and I imagine you'll give me a very short, resolute answer. But you condemn white supremacy, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad to see that you said that. I wish our president would say that so resolutely and unequivocally as well. But we are at a time that Americans are literally fearful because their president cannot do that in the resolute manner in which you did. I'm sorry that question had to even be asked at this time. Here's another one. Do you believe that every president should make a commitment unequivocally and resolutely to the peaceful transfer of power?
Well, Senator, that seems to me to be pulling me in a little bit into this question of whether the president has said that he would not peacefully leave office. And so to the extent that this is a political controversy right now,
that's not hard.
As a judge, I want to stay out of it. I don't want to express a view on.
I appreciate what you've said about.
Okay, so we got that, but that part right here. I just want to replace this part, and I'm going to show you something.
Question had to even be asked at this time. Well, but we are at a time that Americans are literally fearful because their president can.
I think Americans are mostly stupid, but again, people. Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad to see that you said that. I wish our president would say that so resolutely and unequivocally as well. But
oh, really? All right, Cory Booker. Let's go. How about we do that, sir? Let's hear what the president has to say.
He never said to white nationalists explicitly, and if he did, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I don't think he did, he never said, I don't want your support. Don't vote for me. I don't think he did. I was there every day.
How do you feel about the recent endorsement from David Duke?
I didn't even know he endorsed me. David Duke endorsed me? Okay. All right, I disavow, okay?
What he didn't do is say that he was not going to accept the support of any of these fringe groups.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. I've been doing it now for 2 weeks. You're probably about the 18th person that's asked me the question.
David Duke is a bad person who I disavowed on numerous occasions over the years.
I've rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. From the time I'm 5 years old, I rejected them.
Donald Trump refusing to condemn former Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard David Duke. What do you
17 years ago, same person asked the question.
see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party?
He was not even 17 years ago, right? Same person that I just played. Him, 17 years, I said that. I want to play straight through. 17 years ago, President Trump was not a politician. But I just listened to this nonsense.
To condemn former Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard David Duke. What do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined. A bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
If he said on Friday, I disavow, why ask him again on Saturday?
Why not disavow David Duke, disavow the KKK? What's going on?
I'm saying to myself, how many times do I have to continue to disavow people? And the question was asked about David Duke and various groups.
When I put out that I reject KKK and David Duke, nobody picks it up. You know why they don't? Because they don't want to pick it up.
I disavowed him on Friday. I disavowed him right after that because I thought if there was any question, and you take a look at Twitter, almost immediately after on Twitter and Facebook, they were disavowed again. I disavowed him every time I speak to somebody virtually, and, they just keep it going. They keep it going.
I don't like any group of hate. Hate groups are not for me. But I've said this before. The press hates me to say it. They just don't want to pick it up.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am.
Some of your supporters in Chicago were acting violently as well. And I have to say, the guy who rushed the stage yesterday at Donald Trump voted for you.
Myself, I know it's not...
And let's add to this the person who shot the senators at the ball game voted for Bernie Sanders, and I don't think but for Bernie Sanders again, and I think I'm not gonna blame Bernie for that. I can't blame Bernie for something that's stupid because a person took it to their mental fortitude got messed up. But it's funny how we let this happen. So let's listen to Bernie's answer.
If I have to take responsibility for everybody who voted for me, it will be a very difficult life.
Understand that, which is true. It is true. That's the part that annoys me. It is true. But like I said in down there, repeat a lie so much it becomes the truth, which is not a truth. And again, I am one of those people who hated. Sorry, but I'm not. I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna apologize. When Oprah introduced this stupid thing about my truth. There's the truth. There's no my truth. It's the truth. You stole the candy? No. Okay. Well, my truth is I looked at the candy and no. Yes or no? Jeez.
Closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia, we condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides. It's been going on for a long time in our country.
And it's gonna keep on happening. It's gonna keep on happening in our country, in this country, as much as any country. All right. So, I can't believe that he has not. We have a president that never. No, he has. He has. Not once, not twice, not 15, not over 50 times. Go back to the past. He said the same thing too. Now, funny enough, You take that same flip, like we just just showed you there about Bernie Sanders, and I don't blame Bernie. I would never put Bernie Sanders in that situation for a crazy nut job doing for what he did. And what Bernie Sanders says is correct. But it's funny we could let that go, but the other stuff, no. Oh, well, because they have agenda. I get it. When a lot of Democrats praise Senator Byrd, and he also was a Ku Klux Klan and Grand Wizard. Oh, no, we don't talk about that now, don't we? How about Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood? What she says, she was a Ku Klux Klan member as well too. Oh, wait, no. And she created Planned Parenthood to kill off a lot of black people because they think we were weeds. She thought that black people are weeds. Okay. No, because remember, Hillary Clinton said in 2016 that I look up to her. She is inspirational. Wow. A woman who said, I want to kill off black people because they're weeds on this earth. And I have the video to prove that too, but I'm just going to try to go through this stuff. So I'll do that in a later video, of course. But anybody talk about that? No. How dare I? So no matter what he does, it makes no difference. And people just listen to CNN, MSNBC, as you saw that I played whatever, and nobody say, okay, let me check other sources. Let me check other sources. Nope. People stay in their bubble. That's what they do. They stay in their bubble. They don't go to see other things. And that's why they're misinformed. So, with that stated, in that regard, so Corey, again, let's go to another person. So I basically flipped it, but that's lies being taught to become the truth, which is not. It's lies. But hey, some people don't want to see things for what they are. That's just what it is. Now, let's go to another one. Now, hair, to be honest, just like they take away cuties and everything and all this stuff, I think people who are conservative on this and who got an outlet, I think they're wrong on this one. On this one part, I won't play, but the other part, on this one part, I'll play it. But on the other part, I see where the outrage comes from. So let's go into this lovely lady. Like I said, nothing more I hate. Our politicians are so despicable. They're very despicable creatures.
Nowhere. Since you became.
So yeah, I had to play a little bit, but let me set it up. So let's go. Hawaii, it is what it is. I don't see, it is what it is. Y'all crazy. Same thing. And I looked at the ticket for New York because Blasio cannot run anymore. As to your state, thank God, but also the people who are running in his spot are just as bad as him. So New York, I wish y'all the best. I keep y'all in my prayers. I have family members up there. I wish y'all the best. Because I'm telling you right now, y'all, I get it. It's the people who get the vote. Just like people say, oh, we got between Hillary Clinton and Trump, that's the best we got. I get it. But man, it's so weird that you could vote for the people, but you can't hold their foot to a fire. At all. So, this is, of course, Haruna Maisie. Her name, Haruna Maisie, that is another woman Just again, gonna let you see. And to the conservatives or Republicans, whatever, I have no problem. She asked this question because of what she said in the past. So I'll let you hear what the question she asked. That a lot of conservatives are up in arms about, and I think that should not be a problem to me. But let's go.
A legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator Hirono.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement related to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator.
And may I?
So, as the person who says she's a conservative woman, I have no problem with the question. Why? Because Ms. Horona has because of what she did to Kavanaugh and how she has a bent that is weird, that have stated that that women can't be victims. So hey, she asked the woman about this stuff. Okay. I mean, that's not that woman can be. Women are always the victim. No. Women can also do horrible stuff. I don't believe women or men. I believe the facts, what I see. And women women are just as much liars as men. Men are just as much evil as women, but there are differences. And the two differences, men could be a-holes, men could be evil, but women could be a-holes and they could be spiteful. And they get away with a lot of stuff. That's how the rules are. So in that regard, because I did a video, you can go and check this out. When I said when she was all the whole, we should believe all women. No, I don't believe all women. I'm not ever going to believe all women, and I'm not gonna believe all men. And I ain't gonna believe all men. We are infallible creatures. We're going to do stuff. Duh. Okay. I'm not going to look at you and say, hey, have I ever lied? No, that'll be a lie to yourself. Have I ever lied? Yes. I am not a man of God. I mean by that, I'm not talking about like the highest. I have fallen many times and here's the thing. I don't preach hypocrisy to people or whatever. I still go balance. I don't stuff because like I said, I get it. Because I was listening to a little thing a while ago saying with a guy asking questions about religious stuff, whatever. Let me bring this up to my screen first. Again, like I said, have I lied? Yes. Have I stolen? Yes. I've not stolen money from corporations or people to hurt or none of that stuff. Not from those stores. No. But I was stolen something from a friend. Yeah. I was stolen from a family member. Like maybe I took their game or stuff like that. Like, game or their pots or something. Yes, I have. In the past, I have. I'm not going to say I have not. Have I stolen anything from since I left my mom's house? To be honest, I left my mom's house at 17. No. Have I ever cheated? People are like, oh, have you ever cheated on a person? No. Have I had sex before marriage? I'm not married, so the answer would be yes. I'm not a perfect person. There's no perfect person on this planet. I recognize what I recognize and I do what I gotta do. That's the whole point. So I call out the straightness is best when I do these reports and these videos that you see. That's why I do that. So I have no problem with that question. A lot of conservatives does. I don't, because again, I don't believe women. The heck I would. And in today's society, and I'll give this to women. itself in America. I give y'all one thing that y'all have. And I feel for y'all for this. Because I don't have to go through that. And most men don't have to go through that. But women do have to go through that. You need, for some reason, you need validation. And because you need validation, peer pressure is strong against you guys. And because what other women think of you, you do stupid stuff. I do not care what somebody does to me, because you're not going to lock me down into a situation. People are like, oh, have you experienced racism? Yes, I have. But here's the thing. If you ain't messing with my food, you ain't messing with my money, like my paycheck money, you're not messing with my family, and you're not stopping me, my family, that I do not care. You have no control over me. You do not. And I'm not gonna give you that control over me at all. So you do what you want to do, but that has not stopped me, because again, going from where I came from to become to own stuff and do stuff on my own, travel the world, be financially stable and independent. That's all me making the right choices. Did I have help along the way? Yeah. Did I look at other people's and learn from them? Yes. But again, nobody shoved me through no door. I made the decisions to be what I be, so I could be independent. And I'm working towards, literally at this point right now, I am working towards to be off of the power grid. I have solar panels on my house. My power bill is very low because of that. Once I get a backup battery that could that I'm looking at to go 7 days without power, or we could use the sun to do stuff, I'm off the grid. I don't use a lot of power in the first place. Right now is the most I've used. I mostly would use power right now, because in this studio right now, I have me a light, a very powerful light on the left, on my left. I have me a light that's showing on this ugly but beautiful face. But on me, camera is using, PC is using, mic is using. All I use is power, a lot of power right now. Of course, every other part of my house, except for those that's plugged in, other part of my house is turned off, pitch black, but it has security and blah blah. This stuff is plugged in. Hell, I don't even got my toaster plugged into the wall. Stuff that needs to be plugged in, I pick and choose on that. But my point of saying that is, you make choices, and I've debunked this thing many times in the past. I got video about it, about the whole thing about this, the racist stuff that's been perpetuated in the world. It's still going on. There's more slaves in this world now than it was back in 400 years ago. That people thought, there's more slavery now, and people are doing more horrible stuff because that we could see. But again, I'm not against that question. So I can sometimes conservatives play into the rules of that nonsense. No. Now, I do have a problem with this question, though. And this is why I talk about politics. Yes, if you're sick about it, I get it. But the problem is, though, this stuff leaks into normal life, and it tried to make it change a lot of things. It's the reason why I look down, because I'm looking at my notes so I can see stuff if you're looking at me. So, this is the question that's annoying to me.
Started off with this question from Senator Dianne Feinstein.
You identify yourself with a justice that you, like him, would be a consistent vote to roll back hard-fought freedoms and protections for the LGBT community. And what I was hoping you would say is that this would be a point of difference where those freedoms would be respected. And you haven't said that.
Senator, I have no agenda, and I do want to be clear that I have never discriminated on the basis of sexual preference and would not ever discriminate on the basis of sexual preference. Like racism, I think discrimination is abhorrent. On the questions of law, however, I just, because I'm a sitting judge and because you can't answer questions without going through the judicial process,
It's true.
can't give answers to those very specific questions.
A big topic, was not impressed.
Even though
So you heard what she said. I wanted to play the clip so you hear what she said. Here's what her owner says that I'm going to point out. This is the stuff that it gets into the stuff. Oh my goodness. That's why I say culture is downstream from politics.
you didn't give a direct answer, I think your response
Which she did.
did speak volumes. Not once, but twice. You used the term sexual preference to describe those in the LGBTQ community. And let me make clear, sexual preference is an offensive and outdated term. It is used by anti-LGBTQ activists to suggest that sexual orientation is a choice. It is not.
Wait.
Let me bring it back to my screen. You heard that. It is not a choice. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Seriously. And it's offensive. What? And the thing that killed me about it is people like her and other people who are, let's be honest, like I said, that's why I'm gonna explain the reason why I use the word leftist. Like I said at the beginning, the reason why they do this is because they have Hollywood, they have academia, they have so many people backing them to change the culture, to socially manipulate the population. Yes, it's a choice. Oh, here's okay. So let's make it easy. So a person who is how should I state this? Who was heterosexual and then became homosexual. They choose. Oh, that's not a choice. That was because they never know who they were, whatever. But you still choose the sex. Yes, you still choose it. And if you were homosexual, then you turn back into a heterosexual, then you still choose. That's not a choice. Because when it goes down to the nitty gritty, I don't go down to the basic level. All right. I when it comes, even though my sexual preference is women, I still choose because not all women I want to mess with. Just is. Because I know it's trouble. But that's the nitty gritty small part. But everybody has a preference. Everybody has a preference. You choose what you want to choose. I've did a video on this on my gaming channel that I have, talking about the preference with video games. I choose not to buy games that's always online. Why? Because I don't like that. I need the internet to have fun, to do something. I don't like that if I buy something, somebody else has the full rights to it. There's a reason why I still buy DVDs. There's a reason why I still buy physical games. Because I could watch it anytime I want. And my account cannot be used to shut down or anything like that. There are people right now. For instance, there's an instance where a guy said something not racist, but just because people didn't like it, this guy spent over $1,000 in video games. They went on Twitter, harassed Steam. Steam took his account away. He bought $1,000 a game. He can't play $1,000. He can't play his games. Are you kidding me? No. And then people literally back up. People literally back up their. I am against cloud unless you own the cloud yourself, like I do in my house. But I do not applaud you to go to Amazon, Google, any of these things unless you're a corporation to black up stuff in that regard because you need bigger stuff. I make that, but as a personal person, I would not back up anything to no damn services like that. The way you see how things are going now, if something you need, they could hold it ransom. So I'm not doing that. But people still do. But the part that annoys me about what I said coming through with the part of people like, okay, well, it goes downstream or company, whatever. It's not offensive. It really isn't. But they make it offensive for certain people. But here's the problem why I say it is that, and they've done this not once, but multiple times. And this is why we got a problem with things, which is this right here. Merriam-Webster changes its definition of sexual preference as Barrett got called out for using the term. Merriam-Webster dictionary changes its definition of sexual preference to include the word offensive, which it isn't, as the Democrat slapped Supreme Court nominee Judge Amy Corbett for using the term Tuesday in the Senate hearings, as I just played for you. Prior to Tuesday, the fifth definition listed preference as an preference to orientation as a sexual preference. But Wednesday, the fifth definition of the preference word became offensive when used to describe sexual orientation. And the reason I said that because of what happened with the word racism. By definition, we should not use, the laws was, not laws, sorry. The rules were you never use a word because again, your teacher would always say that's wrong. Back in the old days, you never use the word to define itself because you're not defining the word. By definition, you're not defining the word. But they say racism is because of race. I was like, and these little kids are going to pick this up and say and repeat the stupid stuff of that. As we said last month, Webster Dictionary defined a preference as an orientation, but a preference as today via change the word to add offense. In saying that through the Wayback Machine, it's real. This is how leftists change a lot of rules for certain people. Act of preferring in a state of being, power, the power or the ability of choosing one that is preferred. The act and fact or principle of giving advantage, proprietary to the right to demand and receive. Orientation, second sense to be used for sexual preference. Now it is offensive. See usage in paragraph. All scheduled to update which add words and also add new definition usage guidance. An example of sentence to existing dictionary entries take place several times per year. Yeah, okay, yeah. From time to time, we release one of those words. These schedule changes early the word to set the word when the word or set of words is getting extra attention. It was never getting extra attention. It was just some person just said it and y'all changed the word. It was never said, and I'm going to prove that nonsense too. It was not that, Marion, but because of how you guys are, you do it. Shit up there. Peter Swasowski, Merriam-Webster's allowed to explain statement to Fox News. And in this case, we will release an update for the sexual preference, and we noticed that the entries of the preference and sexual preference were being consulted in connection with the SCOTUS hearing on Tuesday. Are you seeing this nonsense? That's what I'm talking about. Yes, it's from Fox News. Yeah, I use different sources, like I said. Jeez. But seriously, that is crazy. And it's not. Another thing I hate in America, I'm not going to deny it, it is true. That's why I say, when you listen to me, people who are black and not black, that's why I say I don't speak for the black community or black Americans, because I don't. I speak for myself. Is a lot of the small people, these super minority, because of how the media and academia and all that stuff is, they put a falsehood on people that don't make no sense. They got the loudest microphones and microscopes and blowhorns to speak for people. I know people who are homosexuals. They don't give a rat's butt about this thing, but they make it that way, though. They make it that way. Because, again, before 2011, here's another one. Not only did the racism thing, here's another one. Phobia. My sister has arachnophobia. Other people have vertigo, all that stuff, and irrational fear. You're more likely to die from a car accident than a plane accident. And oh my goodness, if I showed you this, a lot of y'all would freak out. I just saw a video before I even saw on this show about a car accident, and I thank the Lord, or whatever you want to thank. But for me, I thank the Lord. These people are safe, because what happened was a miracle. And I hope these people, being where they are, mostly like they're thinking Buddhism or maybe something else. I hope you thank your lucky stars that you survived that. It was an accident. Basically, a truck was at a parking lot, and his big rig was not paying attention, and there was a minivan there waiting for a light, and the truck did not pay attention. He slammed the minivan into the cement truck at the light. The car was a minivan. It went from that to about this, and I was like, holy smokes. And I was like, did they die? Because, oh my God. But it didn't. They got a couple scratches, but it survived. Thank the Lord. In that case, and I'm not for suing, but in that case, I'm going to sue that daggone company for that driver. What the heck, man? Jeez. But that is crazy. Goodness. Ugh. But again, just going with the phobia thing. Phobia used to be an irrational fear of things. Now they added hatred to it. And it's so funny. You have xenophobia, which is a weird word on its own. Nobody has never had that fear of seeing it. Oh, I never see nobody say, oh, you're from Nevis? Oh my God, I'm afraid. You from a different country. Never happened. Oh, you're homosexual? Oh my God, I'm so happy. Never happened in that one either. Islamophobia? Nope, none of these stuff. Funny enough, if all the cat, how about heterophobia? I see a lot of that from the news and from the small minority people. What about y'all who are heterophobia? Oh, that word don't exist. Oh, you make up a word, but then we add something to it. Y'all don't like it. How about me? I hate stupid people. Stupid phobia. That's what I have. I have had this fear for so long. Now, when I hear stupid people say stupid stuff, I do react crazy to be like, what the whole? And I hate that. Now we could use it in that regard. But this is the stuff that this is why I say that. And to prove the point, like I was saying, where they just took one instance and turned it into that crap. Let's go back. Remember, you know what Merriam Dictionary, look what I just read. Merriam Dictionary said that we use multiple instances, whatever, that's been used over and over again. Okay, if that's the case, then and it was offensive. But let's look at Macy Horona's colleagues, and this is what they said.
You use the term sexual preference to to describe those in the LGBTQ community. And let me make clear, sexual preference is an offensive and outdated term.
This time, bring everybody along, regardless of color, sexual preference.
Based on whatever color, what their sexual preference might be.
By race, by age, by sexual preference.
It doesn't matter what your sexual preference is.
What their sexual preference is.
Never in the course of her military career had anything about her sexual preference had any impact.
Based upon race, color, or preference or sexual preference.
I don't think that you use the term sexual preference as just, I don't think it was an accident.
Our society has come to respect people, whatever their sexual preference.
I'm not offended.
So, and Ginsburg used that last year. But there are people that Biden used it this year. So, it's offensive that they used it. It's offensive that they used it, Merriam-Webster, please. It's not. It's a double standard, which I don't like, and it's crazy. But again, if you think when people say, "Oh, you have something against a sexual preference," no, I don't. But you be offensive. No, I don't. Why you? The way that, like, I did a video. I'm gonna do a video better back of this about the whole outdoors. Literally, with my birthday, I went to the outdoors, and you know what I saw? I saw black people, saw white people, saw Asian people, saw Indian people. In a video, I talked about the Great White. I did a video about that. Were there a lot of black people? No. Was I scared? No. Was I hurt? No. Was I offended? No. Because it's a choice to go up there and enjoy the great outdoors. But to force this nonsense is so stupid. Oh, it's so dumb. And because of the ducking happening, which people don't know what ducking means for the mic, I'm gonna have to redo that thing again because my voice was going in and out. But now I figured out that you guys are hearing it now. But that's that nonsense. They use a word. Oh, you were being this. Like, no. And I was like, people like we're gonna try to take offensive. Like, you should not be offended. Are you kidding me? If you live on this planet, you're gonna be offended. And funny enough, you go to other countries, you don't think about it because again, a lot of stuff just don't make sense. They make up these words so they could just put you in a political cage and make you back down and be political correctness. I hate political correctness. I am not for political correctness. I am going to do political correct words. Nothing. I make sure I state what I state as clearly as I can. It's the reason why I do not, and it's going to share again later on again as usual, like I always do, show stuff. It's the reason why I do not really text a lot on Facebook. I don't type stuff. I do videos, as you can see right now, because if somebody want to edit and cut a clip of what I just said, blah, 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 all I got to say, people, what do you say about that? All right, here's the video. Back up a couple of seconds and listen to the context of why I say it. Because I never want, people always ask me the question, some people ask the question, oh, you got to stand up for the gay rights. And see, as Ayn Rand has said, when you start splitting up rights into different groups, then there's no rights. Because one right would overrule another right, which is stupid. Let's just give it all straight rights and done with it. And I would love to have a conversation with anybody who want to say this stuff, because like I said, what's for gay rights? If somebody assaults you like, if they do that, there's assault. There's battery, there's homicide. Those already are bad. Those already are laws in the book. Hate crime. Nobody hurt nobody because they love them. What kind of nonsense is that? And then when it's the opposite around, when a minority or whatever does horrible stuff to a white person, it's not a hate crime. What? Those four black kids who and I did a show about it, of course, who messed with that one kid who was mentally messed up. I'll be nice in that regard. They were saying racist stuff, not charged with a hate crime. But if you look at the definition of hate crime, it's all about racism. And do not ever come with that nonsense. Black people can't be racist. Yes, they can. Every race on this planet can be racist. Everyone. So stop that nonsense. And that's why I don't like that. When I hear they program this into these young kids. Black people can't be racist. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And then they change the definition. If you have power, go to Africa. Go to half of the Caribbean islands. They do horrible stuff to other people too. They're the same color. And they have power. And there are black-owned companies that does horrible stuff to other black people and other races. So, please, if you're going to use to have power, then they have that. Please. How about we treat everybody as equally as you can on the context of their character and not their skin? Okay? My blacks, if you do not like me because of my shade of brown that I have on me, that's all right. Don't care. Then we don't have to talk. We don't have to do nothing about it. It's all good. But if my character is what you needed, because again, with the sexual preference thing, which I have never heard a person, unless you are defining your sexual. Nobody really cares who you have sex with. Personally, they don't, and I've never seen it on any job applications I've done. What's your gender, male, female, or don't exclude because of what we're doing now with the 50 stuff. Don't know. Oh, okay, you're male. Who you effing? Never saw that question on my applications. Never saw that in an interview. And it's very hard to prove, but people use that so they could get away with stuff. I don't like that. I don't. It's stupid. But it's never used. So where do we come up? Where do we come up with this nonsense?
Help.
Because who I am having a relationship has nothing to do with me doing music. Well, okay, because you could tell art. You could tell in the art, but it really doesn't still. I have nothing against. I forgot the rapper who was who was homosexual. He named a song. The song's not for me. I just don't listen. That's all I do. Oh, no, it's not. Just like I don't listen to Cardi B songs. Once just so I can listen to thing, or Meg Thee Stallion, or later videos of R. Kelly. Like there's a lot of songs. Tekashi 69. If you want to give me male stuff, I don't like those things. My preference is music. Here you go. My preference, and you can see it on my music as well too. Is to not glorify negativity and do as best as I can. We could use negativity to show the real, like how Cuties did. But and then of course, remember, it's not a choice, the sexual preference, but it's a choice how many genders you could be. I don't get that. That don't make no sense to me. But that's what people talk about. So, and like I said, they use the word, but only when it's convenient to them. Then if anybody uses the word a different way, they're quick to do that. They don't care. Hell, I forgot what it was again back in the 80s. Who was a politician that was running? I forgot his name. It's funny how things change, boy. And it is. Things change, evolve, I get it. But when he was also that he don't care, said he don't care if homosexuals get married and all that stuff. The Democrats of that time in the 80s went after him. And again, that's the Democrats of the 80s. I get it. I understand that. But again, my sexual orientation and preference ain't have nothing to do with what the job is. If you want to be a bricklayer and you're the baddest bricklayer, if you're trans, not trans, homo, not homo, hetero, all that stuff, but you could lay down the dang on bricks like that, awesome. I would hire you with no problem. I'm not gonna ask you, hey, you tell me, hey, boss, I'm gonna jump. I could lay down 3,000 bricks in 5 hours. I'm like, really? And you prove it to me? You got the job. I'm not gonna ask him, hey, do you have sex with men? Do you have sex with women? Do you have sex with a doll? I'm not gonna ask that question because it's stupid. You have a job, do the job. That's all it is. And also, let's go with a double. Let me just finish out with Miss Horona with her craziness with this one, because again, they're the double standards.
Yes.
This is Kavanaugh.
Of course it helps that there are women on that committee, but you know what? I expect the men in this country and the men in this committee, and many of them, believe me, because we all signed on to this letter to demand an FBI investigation, but really, guess who's...
But she already been in why would it demand it back? For those who don't catch on, why would it demand something that they already have done? But I digress.
perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country, and I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up. Do the right thing for a change. Okay.
For a change. Oh, you are a piece of work, lady. You really are. You're a piece of work. For a change. Okay. And and you know what? I'm gonna take her words. She's correct. She's 100% correct. Men, because look at this smug little bastard back there. You're correct. Most of y'all, like Cory Brook and everybody else, y'all need to find your testes. Being what it is. You need to find your balls. Because none of y'all are real. Some of y'all are not men. Okay? Jeez. It's crazy. Just crazy. But again, if a man has said that, all the news would attack her butt. Attack his butt. Oh, how dare you say that? Of course, it's double standards. Listen, y'all don't want equal thing. We want equal rights. No, you don't. You want superiority. I am not down with a lot of stuff because, again, I want a balance. I want men and women to live a harmonious life as best as they can. Is it going to be perfect? No. But as close to balance as we can. But these fringes is destroying a lot of things. Not only destroying countries around the world, America included, we're also destroying the fabric of people, destroying human nature, using human nature to get goals that is not destroying human, using human nature in goals to do horrible stuff to other people. I could bring up some issues, but I'm not. And again, there are some things that so we're not gonna get an equal balance, 100% equal balance. I know that. That's why I talked about. I feel for the women when the young women gotta go through this thing because other women make them feel that. Like we see a lot of young women, young women who have a lot of young women who die or basically not die, I should say, who do self-mutilation and suicide happens because of two main reasons. One, they've been sexually abused and abused, not only by men, by women too, but that's one of them. And that's sad, and that sucks, and we need to stop that. Also because women are very prejudicial about a lot of stuff. Oh, you ain't fat, you ain't this, you think you're that, you all this stuff. That's why a lot of women do a lot of stuff to please other women and not men. Because I never understand this, and I don't understand it, and I never think it's cute. Why the heck hey, black women, come here. Come in close. Why do you guys wear fake lashes? And even the white women who do that thing too, and Hispanics, I'll say it as well. But I'm just, since this is why I see that, why do y'all wear fake eyelashes? Because it ain't for the men. I have never heard a man said, oh my goodness, look at those sexy eyelashes. No, you wear it because of other women. And I'm going to help you out with that. You look stupid. You look dumb. It's clown looking. To see that thing fluttering while your eyes stay still. It looks so stupid. You look literally like a clown. Always saying we want the real thing. Some these women who do this stuff, we want the real thing, but then you put fake stuff on your stuff. I'm a guy, right? I have been blessed. This is a bless that I have. Like my sister, she has long nails. It's her nails, just like me. Our Father has given us that we could have nails. As I cut these last week, and look how quick they regrowing again. And I'm 38. I have the power for that. Real is real. Let's go with real. And I always laugh with people like, oh, when you hear people say, I'm the real, I want to get the real tea, the real honey, all these black women love the real tea. No, most of that is fake stuff. They're lying, and they always do. I keep it real. I keep 100. As Chris Rock said, real stupid. But let's go to another thing now. Should I explain why I use the term left? I'll go to the next big story. You know what? I'll explain why I use the term leftist. That's what I'm gonna do. Because it does not mean, like I said at the beginning of the show, not all Democrats are leftists, but all leftists are Democrat in this country. Every other country has a different affiliation and power and how that's set up. But there's a reason why I use the term. Excuse me. The reason I use the term is because of a guy named Dennis Prager, who used the leftist, because not all liberals are crazy. Some are. Not all. Not all, as a percentage. Not all single mothers. Not all mothers are single. But all single mothers are not all black mothers are single, but majority of single mothers are black. It is. And I never defend that. I would never defend that, just because I've talked to some women who was telling me about, and I've seen that they're like defending this nonsense, which is weird to me. You don't do what they do, but you defend them. Well, black men don't take care of their kids. Statistically, you're correct. Am I offended? No, because you're correct. But I take care of my. If I had kids, I would take care of my kids. But there's way more stuff beyond that with the court system and everything else. We know about that. But I'm just saying, in the laws, of course, which I'm going to be talking about really soon about that nonsense. But there's a point. Show what people is and let them make the decision. And listening to him, that leftists are people who are very evil. Sorry, but it is. Who want to control everything. And also are the same people who think, like I showed many videos in the past, about how they're like, oh, we're for black people. But the things they said about black people are the most racist and inconsiderate and most insulting things I've ever heard for people who say they're fighting for us. Wow. How the way my ears work. So, and so I want to bring up this reason why that, because a term back in the day, how that was worked. In 1959, now, I'll say this right now when people say this. I'm going to play this clip. Here's a woman. People are like, oh, we're not ready for a woman president. So we wasn't ready for a black president. We had one. I don't get that. Whatever. But I would vote for Margaret Thatcher. You'll hear it. I would vote for, I've studied her. I would vote for Margaret Thatcher without no problem at all. Right? Because she made logical sense. Anyway, but this is why I use the word leftist. And this is in Britain, 1955.
You could count the number of extreme left-wingers in the Labour Party, certainly on two hands. There are perhaps 7 or 8 of them. We knew who they were. We all rather thought that this was just an example of the eccentricity of British politics, that it allowed that kind of thing.
The so-called Tribune
group. Yes, and in a way was rather proud that this thing happened. Now, after the last election, there are more than 80 of them. So you see, you've gone from a situation in which you had a very few left-wingers in the Labour Party to one in which you've had over 80.
But
Now,
doesn't that argue
cannot
against
no,
your
one moment.
thesis?
I haven't even developed the thesis yet. Now, you know, you've travelled the world as I have. The one thing about left-wing politicians is they're always fanatical. They never let go. It's their religion. They go on and on. And although they are a minority of the Labour Party, about 80 to 100 out of some 300, they tend to dominate them in view. It's the left wing that I think has led the policies of the Labour Party. And your Social Democrats have not really argued with them, although they've been in the majority. They've not been in the ascendancy.
Okay. And with, sorry. Flip back to the main screen. That's why I use the word that. And you said that you use Social Democrats, the same thing that they're using now with Bernie Sanders and everything. I layer people like that. In 2016, I had no problem against Bernie Sanders. His policies was crazy, but I respect the man for what it is. I don't respect the man now because of what he has done. That's the way it is. Just call it as is. Like, and again, I'll state it again. Go back and Google these videos and watch this. In the 16, when Bernie Sanders was running, and the reason I don't respect him is not because his policies was crazy. The reason I don't respect Bernie Sanders, to be honest, in most cases, is because of what he did. And I'll explain right now. One, in 2016, he used to say, we need to stop the millionaires and billionaires. Okay? All right, good, Bernie. All right, millionaires and billionaires. All right, cool. He did not win. He called out the corruption of Hillary Clinton. He did. He called the corruption of Hillary Clinton. And then when there was evidence that she was corrupted, he could have said, yeah, there you go. This is why I said what I said. But instead of that, he bowed down. That means that you don't have no principles. That's the way I don't like that. If I said something and you're going to change, no, and I was right, I'm not going to bow down to Hillary Clinton. He should have never did that. He got robbed by the DNC to run. And that's why that's one reason I don't have highly respect for him. I respect him on the question that I showed earlier, but on a whole, that one right there, no, I don't, because you were correct. You were 100% correct about Hillary Clinton. You were proven correct, but then you still support the corruption that you fought against, as you said. Kind of infuriating in a way. One. Two, like I said before, the whole millionaires and billionaires. After that, he wrote books. Good for Bernie. That's all great. I'm happy for you, Senator, that you did that. But look at the rhetoric for this election year. He don't say millionaires no more. He said billionaires. Why? Because Bernie Sanders worth $2.5 million. And he has, as he said at the debate stage, he has 3 houses. Wow. Crazy how that works. So, hey, Bernie. So after that, you stop saying millionaires, and all that you say is, we got to stop the billionaires. Wow, rules for thee, not for me. I ain't going to use the book, but funny how that works out. That's why I use the word leftist. Majority of my family in America are democratical people. I have nothing against them. There's some decisions that they have made that's really make me think, what the hell would you choose this thing? And I do not feel no pain for what you choose, because you choose it. My family, because I remember before, I'm not going to be specific, but just as a example, she said, I remember my aunt and my mom was in a room and something happened to a family member, and it said, don't you feel sympathetic for that person? No, because that person chose that. Why would I feel sympathetic for somebody who did something stupid? No, I'm not going to do that. I say, oh, family member, I don't care. I do not care. You want to put your hand on the stove and get burns? I should be, I can't believe the fire burned you. No, you put your hand on the stove. You stupid. I don't care if this is my family. I don't care if that was my own son and daughter, if it was that. Stupid should hurt. If you make a stupid decision, you should live with it. One of the major problems in America right now is a lot of people do not take responsibility for stuff. We keep saving stupid people for their own stupid decisions. That's the problem that happened. Because if you learn from your mistakes, you'll be a better person. But if you keep on making them the victim and you say, "Oh, this happened to me because of this, this, and this," it's not because you put your hand in the stove. I didn't know if the stove was hot. I didn't know if it. Example. This guy had a barrel that had oil in it. He did not know if the barrel had enough oil in it. So he light a match. This is a true story, happened in Arkansas. He light a match to look into the barrel and basically blow up his house. He's still alive. Basically almost blow up half his house and everything. Who forced him to light the match? He did. Who forced him to look into the barrel? There's so many other choices you could have done. Let me tip the barrel to see if things in there. Wait till the sunrise in the daylight to look. If there's nothing in there in the barrel, move things around. Oh, I'm hearing noise, so oil is in there. Why would you take a match and look into the freaking barrel? That's on you. It's not under no circumstances. You're not no victim. You made a stupid choice. So let's get into the rest of this conundrum. All right.
But I certainly wasn't.
Oh, sorry. You gotta show you what I'm talking about. Let me just clear these so I can make sure the bandwidth is pretty cool. So I could use stuff. My mistake. Crazy people. Okay. So I don't need this as well too. All right. So this is one of the reasons why I say sorry, and they might hit me with some crap. You might check it out again. Facebook has blocked me a couple of times for saying the truth. So hell. But this is crazy. This is why I say get out of your bubble. I do not look for validation through Facebook. I do these shows to help promote the shows, and hopefully you guys watch. If you want to comment, have a discussion. I have no problem against that. But I don't post a lot of word stuff like I did back in the day when I used to think. I'm not addicted to social media. I have a Twitter account for Project Open Mic. Facebook, I don't have none. I use my own personal page. Instagram, Project Open Mic. I don't have those things because I don't need validation. Sadly, a lot of women need that so they could feel what it is, and that's something that I hope a lot of women could break. I feel bad for you guys for that. That's one of the true epiphany and a true problem that I see young women have deal today. Because I've talked about this in my old radio show when this girl got bullied so much she jumped off a water tower, and the one. I don't know why. Like I said, I talked to this with my co-host, the Sideshow Chat. I am not giving my child, if God bless me with a child, wife, and kids. I am not going to give my child a smartphone until a certain age. They're small or whatever one. I'm not gonna put them on Facebook. If they come and tell, oh, Facebook, they're not doing that. I will be. Because I know how to do certain tech stuff. I'm a techie person, not all techie, but techie. I'm gonna put VPN. I'm gonna put internet restrictions that they can't use stuff. I'm not putting a TV in their room. They're gonna play games in daddy. Because like I say, if I'm having fun, I have a movie game room in my house. A game, they're gonna play video games there with open so I can see what's going on. One, and they're not gonna have a computer in their room. They're going to use the stuff in an open room where I can see it. I'm not going to give them, I want the children to have fun, go out and play with them, play football, baseball, catch, whatever. But I'm not going to, I'm going to let them have the innocence as long as they can so they don't get manipulated into do stuff, because this young girl jumped off a water tower and killed herself. If you want to stop online bullying, all you got to do is just, I don't know, not log in. cut your page, do something. It's like you let the bullying come into your house. Why would I let that happen? I wouldn't. And I'm not going to let that happen. So I block it as best as I can. Now, if you're getting physically abused and physically bullied, then yes, talk about it. Let your parents know, get it out like that. Online bullying, just say what you want. Doesn't bother me, and I don't got to take into it. That's what we got to teach our kids that. But as I was saying right here, in a bubble. So, as I cracked the joke last week when I said this, when I was listening to one of my a friend saying about Facebook is for the conservatives and President Trump was like, "Are you out? Are you know what? I like you crazy." I didn't know. I did not say you're crazy. I just thought, yeah, I don't know what you're listening. And the reason you're listening to that because it's a bubble. And here's an example of why there's a bubble. I'll show you 2 examples of that bubble. That's why I look for multiple sources to do stuff.
The only one. What?
Oops, sorry. Get on the screen. There we go. So the press secretary is pointing out a story. Pointing out a story, which that's what it's supposed to do. But they cannot. They can't on Twitter and Facebook and all this other stuff. They block it. Now the reason they say is because it's hack material. It is not. The story is there was a laptop that went to you know what? I might talk about the full story. He needs his own thing, but I'm not gonna do it tonight. Maybe next week we'll see. I have the story. I know what the whole story is, and it's not a hack. They say hack material. It's not hack material. It's because somebody starts with a H and ends with a B did a dumb move, which he has done multiple dumb moves, and it was his fault. But again, we try to make them into victims. I don't get that. But again, you're the press secretary. You're supposed to, you letting the world know what's going on. But Facebook said, oh, well, we can't. Facebook, Twitter, also, oh, we can't do that.
The only one. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany was suspended from Twitter for previously sharing the link before Twitter was able to prevent people from posting it. They claim she violated their rules against distributing hacked material. Even though the emails weren't hacked, they were on an abandoned laptop.
You are not allowed to share that information. And make no mistake, if they can ban the press secretary of the United States for President Trump, they can ban you as a citizen, and that is pathetic.
That's a great point.
That is a great point, and that's true. That is scary. If they could do that to that. So they say they can't do all that. Let me play this because here's how funny that works.
Our own Adam Housley on his account has confirmed.
And just to make sure to people understand, I'm not that's Sean Hannity. I don't like the guy. Okay, just be honest with that. But his opinion. He's not an anchor the way CNN put the other guys as anchors. Don Lemon, Anderson Cooper, Chris Cuomo are not anchors. They're opinion piece people. Just tell the truth.
The authenticity of that, as have other media outlets that have been reporting on the story.
Of course, when Richard Maddow obtained stolen copies of President Trump's tax returns and reported on that, she wasn't suspended or locked out of her account.
No, and the funny thing about it, go back and look at that video of the tax form, the thing. You know how much money President Trump paid that year? $33 million. A lot more money than I will pay in my life. It's what it is. But it was not. It was a big nothing burger. But they say they use their stuff, whatever. So the story is basically is this. This is the reason why this is a big story.
I've never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses. Period. I did anything wrong, and I didn't realize he was on the board till after he'd been on the board. And
oh, you didn't know until after he's the board. Okay, but there's a picture of you, Mr. Vice President, you, your son, the same guy who was investigated, y'all golfing. I would be blind and be stupid if it was that. But it's crazy.
And at the same time, he has come forward and said it was a mistake on his part to be on the board. I don't know what he was doing. I know he was on the board. I found out he was on the board after he was on the board, and that was it.
The fact is, I was unaware of his investments until it occurred, and I've never discussed what my son's business with him because I didn't want any conflict.
I don't discuss business with my son. I didn't know.
And that's why the emails as short as you can see on the bottom. He did. The emails show that he did.
That was the case. I've never spoken to my son about his overseas.
That's one of the reasons why the emails for Hillary Clinton was wiped clean, because it was damning, of course. And it was like, oh yeah, let's not have this. That's why we have our own server and all that stuff. To be honest,
I've never discussed my business or their business, my sons or daughters, and
right.
I've never discussed them.
Of course, like you didn't pressure the Ukrainian government to fire that prosecutor, according to Twitter's Fact Check and the Washington Post, which says then President Biden played no role in pressuring Ukraine officials into firing the prosecutor.
Oh, really? Let's listen and hear with our own eyes and ears.
Of course, that's not what you told your globalist friends at the Council on Foreign Relations.
So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a got fired.
Funny how that works, doesn't it? And you bragged about this. I swear. But big tech companies, they censor this stuff because of what the lean-in is. It's a big story. It should be heard. Let people make up the decision. Now, I've seen this video multiple times because I know the video exists out there. And I've said it once, I said it again. Go back to the show I did last week. It's funny. These politicians now, do they not know that you're getting recorded? It's recorded all the time. You are a sit-in politician. And let me be honest to you, this is not an old people thing, because AOC and Ilhan Omar, all those stuff, who are younger, still do the same dumb stuff. It happens on the Republican side. It happens on the Democrat side. It happens on politicians. This is like, your words are there. That's why I show with Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, all these people. They're like, that's not what you said. Here's the video of what you said. Horrible. Oh. And then it's so weird. It's so weird. But they like to censor stuff. And let me show you how some of this census stuff works out. I pointed out before again. Stop, double A. I might point this out again. But let's get straight to this. All right. Of how this works. It's funny, people with Mark Zuckerberg have said, oh, wow, we're going to find an independent group to search our stuff to make sure we fact check things. That's technically speaking not your damn job. And you said it on Congress, in front of Congress, that's not your job. And I respect that you said that. But for some reason you kowtow to the politicians, and then you say, I'll have an independent group. Majority of these groups are paid by you. How the hell? That's a conflict of interest. What the heck are you talking about? So here we go. Let's listen to a story by, again, John Sasso, and listen how they do this nonsense.
Looking at Facebook, I was shocked to see this big notice on my page, missing context. It's posted on my video that calls California's fires government-fueled. Because Facebook says this information could mislead people. Some of you now feel betrayed. One of you wrote, "Shameful, John. What happened to you? Your reporting was always fair, but your fire story was so unfair, even Facebook tagged it." A warning from Facebook carries weight. What's worse is that now Facebook says it will show my content to fewer people. Yikes! My news model is based on social media companies showing you videos. Why did Facebook penalize me? I clicked the button that says, "See why."
And that happened to me as well too. And you could still go back and find the video. I was correct. And they unblocked me because they had blocked me. I was correct with what I said, but they just didn't want to. They still put a tag on the damn video. I was correct. I had evidence to prove it. As you can see, I always show videos and stuff and whatever. But they do what they got to do. And that's why I don't like to be in a bubble.
It goes to a page from a group called Climate Feedback that writes about climate change and claims to sort fact from fiction. Facebook gives this little group power to cut me off? Yeah, Climate Feedback posted this statement in quotes, as if it's something I said, and calls that statement misleading, saying it misrepresents a complex reality. Well, it does, but I never said that.
Thank you.
I actually said, climate change has made things worse. California's warmed 3 degrees over 50 years. Facebook's letting activists restrict my views based on things I never said.
And same thing with my video and that I've seen.
Now, Facebook's a private company. It can censor anything it wants. And I feel for Mark Zuckerberg.
Do you see a potential problem here?
People from all sides accuse Facebook of favoring the other side's posts.
A pervasive pattern of political bias.
Do you fact check on any ads?
That's not their job. You crazy old James Brown lookalike.
But there's no way Facebook can police everything. The site...
Because they cannot. And that's what I said. It is what it is. It's propaganda. By definition, everything that says anything good or bad about anything when it comes to political is propaganda. By definition. All the ads that the Republicans and the Democrats do are propaganda. It's up to you to rationally think this stuff out. Be the smart individual.
Carries billions of posts. I wish they'd just let the information flow.
I wish so too.
Learn to sort truth from lies. But what Facebook did to try to please politicians is let other people censor.
We work with a set of independent fact checkers.
That's how Climate Feedback gets its power. Facebook says I can appeal, but my appeal must go to Climate Feedback. I tried. I emailed the editor. She didn't respond. But 2 of 3 scientists listed as reviewers did agree to interviews. You're smearing.
So, which is weird how that worked. But let's hear what they got to say, because here's the funny part.
Me based on something I didn't say.
Yeah, I mean, I've never commented on your article.
That was a shock. He hadn't even seen my video.
If this is implying that we have reviewed the video, then this is clearly wrong. There's something wrong with the system.
He said my video was probably flagged because I interviewed environmentalist Michael Schellenberger. Climate Feedback doesn't like his new book that criticizes environmental alarmism.
My assumption is because Schellenberger pops up in there and his statements have basically been shown to be partially wrong.
This issue has...
Okay, prove why the partially is wrong. I've seen I've seen an interview that John starts to talk about. Show why it's wrong. Oh, you don't want to show why it's wrong. And I don't like cowardice like that. And here's what the other guy said.
It's become very political, which
is
unfortunate.
Zeke House.
Yeah, and you guys made it political, sir. But I'll back up a little bit. But he's right.
Zeke Housefather's another Climate Feedback reviewer. He hadn't seen the video either.
I certainly did not write a climate feedback piece reviewing your segment.
So we sent him a link to my video, and he watched it. Is that a fair label on the video that I did?
I don't necessarily think so. You know, while there's plenty of debates around how much to emphasize forest management versus climate change, your piece clearly discussed that both were at fault here.
After Housefather and Dorr admitted that Climate Feedback hadn't shown them my video, Climate Feedback's editor finally responded to our emails. She gave us an email address where we could file a complaint. When we did, they wrote us back that now, finally, they have watched the video, but they stand by their smear because the claims don't accurately reflect scientific evidence. Also, both scientists I interviewed emailed me afterward to say they do support Climate Feedback's position. Housefather writing, after talking to the folks at Climate Feedback, he now thinks my video minimizes the role of climate.
Yeah. How much you want to bet he got pressured and got used stuff with money and everything?
Ah, that's what this is about. I interviewed Schellenberger, who argues
a small change in temperature is not the difference between normalcy and catastrophe.
And Climate Feedback doesn't want people to hear that. It's enraging that Facebook gives these activists the power to silence one side of the debate. This is why I suggest you sign up for our email list.
So, and there's one reason, there's a reason why like I said, I don't agree with John Stossel about everything. And you ain't gonna agree about everything that I say as well either. That's the whole point of Project Overnight, to have a conversation, everything. But here's the thing about John Stossel that I do like, and I have much respect for him, because his videos, like I said, I'm gonna use his videos as an example. He always goes and asks the emails of these critics to say, hey, okay, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this stuff. I have supported John Stossel, share, like, and donated to his John as well to you. But yeah, they had one where he was at what was it? He talked about two camps between government and private. He emailed the government multiple times and he shows it. That's something you should do. That's why I respect him in that. These kind of journalism like him, they don't exist no more. And you can see John Stossel is an older guy. A lot of these younger journalism, as I point out in the last video, they're 27 years old and they don't know nothing. Not a bad thing to be ignorant. I am ignorant. John's ignorant. Everybody's ignorant. By definition, we all are ignorant on a lot of things. We're not going to know everything in the world, but it's up to us to not be ignorant with the technology we have right now. Learn, knowledge is power, but wisdom is empowerment. But that's how they do it. They didn't review it, but they block it. They didn't see it, but they block it. That's how disgusting some of these censorship is. And that's why I showed the video before. And a lot of people, like the video before with President Trump disavowing and denouncing David Duke and the KKK. There's a reason why nobody's seen those videos. Or he said it multiple times. 17 years he's been saying it. Because people are in the bubble. So, and here's another, and they twist the words too. You got to look into a lot of stuff. So, let's end this tonight's show on a good note. A little conversation still, but a good note. And I respect the person on this one. I don't respect the person who wrote the article because they spin the thing. That's why I said, this is the Fox, this is the CNN, this is the MSNBC, this is the New York Post, this is the New York Times. Listen to all of them. Every one of them spin. Every one of them spin the news, okay? Not denying it. It's up to you to use your critical thinking to look at stuff, see what's going on, find a commonality, and you'll find the truth. Because they got to give you essence of truth in the first place, but then it hits you with what it is, which is not right. So, on Facebook, shout out to Eva Shanti Shabazz. Respect. And this is the story. And this is another thing. Fathers are needed. We need to make sure that we help fathers, guys. And I'm gonna do something on the project over my call Man's Corner. Just giving a free plug. You'll see videos where young men, if you do not want to get yourself in trouble, if you want to be financially stable, if you like how I am, if you do not want to be burdened by debt and craziness, these are things that you need to know. Fathers need to help. Not all fathers are good. Not just as much you got sperm donors as a lot of people like that. Oh, he was a sperm donor. There's a lot of egg donors too. There are horrible mothers out there. Again, who got this exclusively? People always, I don't like people when they say, oh, human beings are good. No, they're not. It's much harder to be a good person than a bad person. And I played in a story a while ago on this channel when on the channel on YouTube. These people who said humans are great. They don't do horrible stuff. They won't do evil stuff. We're traveling the world. You're Americans. You're white. You went when what was it again with ISIS around, riding your bikes, and you end up dead. How naive are you? Sorry for the family that you lost your members, but they choose to go in a terrorist place riding their bikes. Stupid. Should hurt. And that they won the grand prize on that nonsense. But I like this. Happy birthday, La Shabazz. Today I gifted my daughter with a house for her 13th birthday. This was not random, it was planned. That's good. This marks the beginning of a family tradition. I hope so. Not our family tradition continues, but it's something good to do. Where every Shabazz will give a house to their 13th birthday. Okay, oh, just a birthday, be easier. 13th birthday, and taught to build it into multiple properties before they're legal adults. That's something good, sir. I have nothing against that. Rick J. But again, excuse me, you could teach that. That's why people always have a problem with a loving and benevolent king. The king could be nice and great, but because the spouse, because their heirs never had, most of the time, not all, it's very small though, but most of the time, they never had the difficulty of learning certain things. And I hope he's teaching that to his daughter. Their kid becomes spoiled. A lot of first and second generation immigrants that come from other countries, they understand it. When it gets to the third generation and sadly started creeping up to the second generation now, they become spoiled and entitled. And they themselves chuck off their father and their mother hard work or what they did to get them to that spot. It's sad, but it's true. But I hope the best for you, sir. I really do. No more being... it's kind of hard to see, so like I said, I'm reading it for you guys because it is hard to see. No more being trained to work 24 of your best years before you can retire and then be free to live how you choose. I could quibble with that, but like I said, I'm bigging the guys up. No more being trained to bury yourself in debt and spend your best years digging out of the hole. Well, there's good debt, one, as I think you're gonna partake into your daughter, and two, there's a lot of debt you can avoid by not doing stupid decisions. So I hope you again partake that into your daughter. No more being trained, because again, my debt is basically the house I'm in right now. I don't have no car payment. The other house I have is already paid off. So I don't have that. I only have the one I'm in right now. Oh, and a solar panel loan too. Other than that, everything else, I don't have no debt. I'm in debt at all. No more living to pay rent for years of mortgages and your home not being secure regardless what life throws you. That one I totally respect. Best in that regard. And I wish I could have a conversation with this person, but I know for sure with my small viewership, which again, people, please subscribe on YouTube. Help it up. And same thing on Tempo FM, guys. Just come over and subscribe. You don't got to watch it on YouTube because there's a lot of people who watch this show on Tempo FM in Europe. 2,000-3,000 people. Just come over and help the channel. That's all I'm asking, so we could, show that we could do more interviews, more stuff, because I'm going to do stuff like this, of course. Had an opportunity to do one this week, but it fell through because of certain things. But I want to give people the chance to hear from different people. That's why we have the side chat to hear different things. Let's see. So No more being a slave to the banks and the employers. Okay, I got nothing against that. Let's put our children in a position to be free to live how they choose while they're young and full of life. That's why I want schools just to teach them the simple stuff. I don't care about this whole critical race theory and all this nonsense that they put. It's just ridiculous. Free them as best as we can to live out their dreams and desires. That could be a problem if their desires doesn't make money. There's a lot of people who go into these white studies, black studies, whatever, and don't make not a damn money at all, and they become destitute and broke and teach and go back into teaching, so they could teach younger people, so they could keep the pipeline going. Free them to determine for themselves the relationship they may choose to have with banks and employers. Get that? I'm gonna put on that. Free them so they can be what they're inclined to be. Okay. And he has all this stuff, Shabazz, Tribe Call. Also, so this is the house and everything. Dude, props to you. Happy to give you the thing. I know, hopefully I know, like I said, there's things I could ask questions on, and I would love to ask questions about that, but, you know, I would try to see, I'll do a shout out and just have an interview about him and ask him questions. I'll see if I could get him on Facebook Live and ask these questions, because I have questions to ask. But I like some of the stuff we have here. So respects to the father for doing this for his daughter. And I hope the daughter understand what the father's teaching, so he can continue, as he says, this family tradition. Family, this got to do with them. Teach the kids this, but this is up to them, right? But of course, people pick up this story, which is good. As I just showed you, I just talk about the reality of things. I have nothing. I'm not bringing this down. This is a happy thing. But here comes the spin I was talking about. You got to watch where they spin. I read out the story that you saw. So Dana Givens give generational wealth is something that Black communities has been historically cheated out of due to systemic racism and oppression. Where did he say that on his post? Didn't. And he didn't got to say that this could apply to white, Hispanic, anything. He ain't got nothing to do with black stuff, but it's respectful. But no, he didn't. And that's why earlier I thought, what whole systemic racism? No, systemic racism, he did this to make sure that his daughter is not on welfare. That's the systemic racism. Good that she's not on welfare. Hopefully she has the prog to not get, and I'm not discounting this guy's case. I'm just saying in the knowledge, and I'm thinking he's partaking that in his daughter. Don't go having unprotected sex with no man. Get yourself in trouble, get yourself in debt and everything like that. And I hope he's doing that. And if he is, proud ups to him. If you do that, you won't got to worry about stuff. Today, however, many within the community are working to end the cycle. You can end the cycle anytime, any day, to help their children, to future generation, to achieve better quality of life. One man decided to step in and ensure his daughter financial freedom by buying a house at age 13. Yes, and we read the whole thing. Did he say anything about that stuff? No, he did not. He's just trying to say, and this code, again, this is not, I like what he said because it's going out towards people. This is not only a black thing, it's a white thing, it's an Indian thing, a Hispanic thing. A lot of Indians do this. When I mean Indians, I'm talking about Indian from the Indian subcontinent. A lot of Nigerians do this. A lot of South Africa, a lot of immigrants that come to other countries do this. If I have kids, I don't have kids, but I have kids, they will be financially self to certain things, and they will have a house, maybe this house, maybe the other house I have. They would have something if they want to do that. But I would want them to go out and still have this. Not knocking what this guy did. I want them to have the struggle so they understand how to appreciate it and understand you don't have to do this, but you do this and you understand how a lot of people work to get what they got to get. Sure, to both sides of the coin. That's a good thing, in my opinion. Different from what he's saying in what he's saying on the screen, but I'm not knocking him down for that. props up for you to doing it, Shabazz. Awesome, dude. My family didn't have generate a thing. We have wealth. And the way we're doing it right now is because we decided to do it for ourselves. We don't need a government to do nothing for us. We do it ourselves. He used his own way of financial treating. And again, he's teaching his daughter that again. And good. Very good that you do that. And he's the one who made a choice. And that's what we need to get out this mindset. So again, to Shabazz, dude, good job on what you're doing. I wish your daughter luck. Wish your family luck. I wish the tradition goes. I hope you can do it. You're doing something good for your family. This ain't got to do nothing with no black, white crap. None of that nonsense. But I don't like how people spin the story for you where he never said that. That's the problem I have when these people write these kind of thing. Respect to the man for doing this to his father, for his daughter. And that's why fathers are important in many ways, just as much as mothers are important. We need a balance of this. But let's see how it all works out. With that said, you guys know the rule. Let me go back up to here. Okay. So that will be the end of the show for tonight. All right. Again, shout out to Shabazz for what he's doing, and it's a great teachable moment. That's why I played it I showed it at the end. Please get outside your bubble, look, experience many different things. Let not your thought be taught by nature, but also by looking and exploring other things as well out there. So, for me, I want to thank you guys for giving me your giving your eyes and your ears and listen to what I have to say. You don't have to do this, but thank you that you took your time to do that. Please share this video, comment, do this stuff. You want to catch direct between us. It is Project Open Mic t3@gmail.com. If you have a Twitter or a Instagram, you can catch us at Project Open Mic. And of course, as it's seen on the screen down below. Of course, for those who are watching this through all your mediums, if you want to replay and share videos that I've talked about in the past, Project Open Mic YouTube. There's other stuff I gotta get through, of course. Hopefully, God blessly, I get Library and BitChute and a second channel, because as I just showed you about the censorship, these people will do horrible stuff not to let you listen to other side or just other opinions. I have no problem listening to other opinions. Let's have a conversation about that. Just looking at what I did with Shabazz, there's certain things I said, not negative, but just to want to talk about, which is good. Don't take it just as straight as it is in that regard. But again, you can check us out on that, so you know how I feel about things. Look, evil comes in all shapes, size, color, race, creed, sexuality, country, nature, whatever. Evil's evil. I don't believe into that whole nonsense with stuff, because they're gonna judge me on what I've said, what I've done, what I've done and did. If you don't like me because of my skin tone color, okay, that's cool. I have no problem against that. That's your life. You are not interrupting mine by doing what I'm doing. I will never let anybody else outside opinion obstruct me like that. As long as I am doing it good and you're not affecting my food, my money, my food, my money, or my family. Technically, she's like T3s, really. If you ain't doing that, I don't care. And I'm not gonna invite you into my headspace so you can mess with my head because of what you think of me. No, I don't need your validation. And a lot of things we need, as like I said before, we need to teach that to young girls as well too. You don't need those validation. That's why missing a father, a lot of young women go to a lot of men for the wrong validations, and it's sad. And we'll be talking about that in the show many times before as well. Again, that stated, again, remember to be that smart individual. Okay, people are stupid, individuals are smart. Be that smart individual. All right, let's search out. Remember to check out our show tomorrow. We should be back with Trip and anybody else of the gang to talk about the side check. We talk about topics. So hoping to see you tomorrow. If not, as usual, have yourself a safe weekend. Take care of your family. Be safe, and peace out with that. Again, If not, join us tomorrow between 8 and 9. Same bad time, same bad channel with on the side chat with me and Trip. All right, with that said, this is your boy Tig saying have a good night, and I'll catch you later.